Alright everybody, welcome back to Harvest Moon Farm. My name is Mickey and tonight we're going to be making some honey garlic butter shrimp and broccoli. Sounds delicious, the picture looks delicious, so we're going to get started with our marinade. And to start with, we need a half a cup of honey. And hopefully I've got this melted enough that I can get it out of here. Get a spatula so I can get all this out of here. Okay. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. And I am using the low sodium. The recipe calls for a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger. I don't have any, so I'm just going to use, just a little more than a teaspoon of powdered ginger. We need 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. A 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And I'm just gonna sprinkle some in there. And then we are going to just mix this up until it's all combined. Or splash it on the counter, whichever. All right, so that's all mixed up. So I'm gonna wipe up my mess. And then I'm gonna get my shrimp ready and I'm gonna put them in this bowl. Put this aside. All right, you guys know I like to buy the pre-cooked shrimp, so that's what I've got here. So now we are going to add just about 1/3 of our sauce. And we're going to just stir our shrimp around in here. Make sure that it's covered. And then we're going to let that sit for about 30 minutes and marinate. Whoops. Marinate, I guess I should have said. So we're gonna let the shrimp sit in this marinade for about 30 minutes. And while that is sitting, we're gonna go ahead and put a 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch in the rest of our marinade. And I'm gonna use a fork to just whisk that in. Make sure that, ooh, that smells really good. Make sure that gets all, make sure your clumps get all broken up in there. And we're gonna have rice with this, but we've got quite a bit of rice left over, so I'm just going to put some in a bowl, and then we'll just heat that up when it's time to cook up our rice. You don't need rice. And I'll probably add just a little bit of water and then cover this before I put it in the microwave so it can steam up. And I'll put the rest of this back. Alright, so I've got a cast iron skillet here. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to let that get hot, and then we're going to add our broccoli. So I've got a package of broccoli florets, and I just, it's supposed to be 4 cups. I don't know that it's really 4 cups, but I'm just going to add it all. But I'm going to let my skillet get hot first. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pour my broccoli in here and start letting it cook. Then add a little bit of salt and pepper. Whoa! Alright, so that salt was clumped up, so came out kind of in a bunch. So hopefully you didn't get too much. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pepper as well. And we just want to cook this until the broccoli is just starting to get soft. So that'll take probably 4 or 5 minutes. That piece is a little salty, so I hope that it's one of the ones that just got the big chunk of salt on it. I need to remember to give my salt a shake before I use it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take this broccoli out of my pan. I'm going to put it back in this bowl. And now I need 2 tablespoons of butter, which I didn't realize I was out of thawed butter, so hopefully I can get this off of here. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to put our shrimp in our pan with our butter. While that's starting to heat, I'm going to go ahead and stick the rice in the microwave. I did add just a little bit of water to the bowl, and I'm going to cover it so it can steam back up so it'll be fluffy. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my sauce. I'm going to give it a stir first. I'm going to add that to our shrimp. Make sure I get all that good honey in there. And then we want to bring that to a simmer. Alright, so that cornstarch that we put in there is helping this thicken up a little bit. So we're going to add our broccoli back in. And we're just going to toss this until the whole dish is warm. Turn this down. So I've got our rice all steamed back up. It's nice and fluffy and hot. So I'm going to start with a layer of rice in our bowl. I'll actually just go ahead and give my husband the rest. Ooh, this is hot. Alright, my husband should be home any minute, and so I've got our dinner dished up here, so I am going to take a little taste of this. Let's see. Really, really good. Ooh. The pepper flakes gave it just a nice little kick without being too much. The honey made it just a little sweet. It's perfect. All right, so we're going to eat our dinner, and I'll be back shortly with the next recipe. Okay, today is January 26th. It's Thursday, so we are just about to the end of week 4 and almost to the end of our first month of our pantry challenge. So today for dinner, I am using some potatoes that I had, that I bought, I don't know, a while back. And we are going to make some French fries in the air fryer. And then I'm going to make some hamburgers. And then I have some green beans that were in my freezer that we're going to steam those or cook those somehow. I haven't completely decided yet. But first thing we're going to do is get our potatoes ready. It's a very simple recipe. We're just going to use 2 potatoes because I don't want a bunch of extra French fries. You know, French fries don't really taste that great left over. So I just want to go ahead and peel them, although you don't have to peel them if you like your French fries with the peel on. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So since I'm just trying this for the first time, I'm going to go ahead and peel them. And then once I see how they do, then maybe next time I will make them with the peel on. All right, so garbage in the bucket. And then I'm just going to cut these into French fry shaped pieces. Ideally, these should all be about the same size. You know how I do at cutting things the same size. So mine aren't even close, but it's all right. We'll figure it out. All right. Now all I'm going to do is put these in a colander, and I'm just going to run cold water over them to get some of this starch off. Now I'm going to put these in a bowl of cold water, but I'm going to go through these and try and get them closer to the same size. I'm sure that they will cook better that way. So now these are going to be more like McDonald's sized French fries in terms of the thickness. And then we're just going to add a tablespoon of baking soda and cold water to cover our potatoes, and then we're just going to let them sit. And you can let them sit as long as overnight, but I wouldn't let them sit any longer than that. You want to let them sit at least a half an hour. So it's still pretty early. It's just a little bit after 4 o'clock now. So I am going to put my baking soda and cold water in here, and then I'm just going to let these sit until my husband gets home, and then I'll start everything when he gets home, because these are only going to cook about 10 or 15 minutes in the air fryer. And then I'm going to cook my hamburgers in the oven so I won't have such a mess, and then everything should be done about the same time. So we're going to put our tablespoon of baking soda. I'm going to fill this up with cold water, stir it up a little bit, and we'll just let them sit. So putting the baking soda in the water and letting them sit like this is supposed to help them fry up in your air fryer and be more crispy. So we'll see how this works. So we're done for now until my husband gets home, and then we can move on with the hamburgers and we'll get these in the air fryer. All right, so my husband is on his way. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting my hamburgers ready to go. I've got the oven preheating. We tend to eat dinner fairly early, especially when my husband's schedule is all messed up, because when he goes in super early, then he gets tired early. So I'm gonna go ahead and make these, I think, like 3rd pounders. It's just me and my husband, so. So I just got out a single pound of hamburger. And I'm gonna go ahead and, this meat comes from grass-fed, grass-finished cows. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a light spray with some non-stick spray so that these don't stick. There's not a lot of fat in this meat, so I've got this tray here. I'm just gonna give it a light spritz. And I'm gonna put my patties on here. And I've got some store-bought burger seasoning that I'm just going to go ahead and, actually I think I'll take a handful and use it that way. Sprinkle over the top of this. And then I've got some Monterey Jack cheese, and I'm going to slice some up, and then I'll add it to the burgers when they're close to being done. I just want it to be enough that the cheese can melt on there. Alright, so my oven's preheated, so I'm going to put the rest of this cheese away. If I can get it back in the bag. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my burgers in the oven, and then I'll do the next process for the French fries. Alright, so now we're going to preheat our air fryer to, I think, 380 degrees. Oh. going to preheat it for 3 minutes. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and rinse the water off of our potatoes. And I'm going to dump them on these paper towels. And we want to kind of pat them dry a little bit. Then we're going to put them back in our bowl, and we're going to add some olive oil and some salt. Don't want to make the same mistake I made last night. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of garlic powder. And then I'm just going to stir this around, make sure the potatoes are coated with the oil. And the seasonings. Whoops. Alright, and then I'm going to set this over here. I've got some green beans. Make sure that they're still okay. Let me see here. So I've got some whole green beans that I had frozen and I thawed them. I'm just going to put them in a skillet. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. And some salt and pepper, and then I'm just going to let them steam on the stovetop. Okay, so our air fryer is preheated. So we're going to take our potatoes and we're going to put them in our basket, and we're going to spread them around and get them as much as possible. We just want them to be in a single layer. And we're going to let them cook for 5 minutes. Oh, did I do that right? Oh, I paused it. Okay, we're going to let those cook for 5 minutes, and then we're going to turn them over and let them cook another 5 minutes, and then we'll kind of see where they're at if we need to give them a little more time. I'm going to get some butter out because I'm going to put those on our green beans once they've steamed. So I will, next week sometime after the end of the month, I will do a video kind of recapping how January went on the Pantry Challenge. I want to talk about how many new recipes we tried, how much we used out of the freezer and the pantry, that sort of thing, and just see how it went. I'm getting really hungry. I can't wait. Everything smells so good. I can't wait to try all this stuff. Our timer's about to go off for our first 5 minutes on our air fryer. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of toss these a little bit. They look really good. They don't seem like they're anywhere close to being done though. All right, so I'm gonna put these back in and we're gonna set them, whoops. We're gonna let them go another 5 minutes and see how they look. All right, so the green beans are done. I just added some butter into the skillet, stirred it up. We're just gonna let those sit while everything else finishes up. I flipped the burgers over and added the cheese. We're gonna let those finish cooking while the French fries cook. Alright, let's see. I need to try one of these and see if it's done. Ooh, not quite. Got it. I'm gonna put these back in for 5 more minutes. Ooh, they look good. Alright, so I'm going to dump them back in this bowl so we don't have to mess with this fryer basket. Turn this off. Set this in here to go ahead and cool. And then I will get our hamburgers. All right, so here's our dinner. We typically eat our hamburgers without bread, so I didn't get any buns or make any buns. I'm gonna go ahead and divvy up our French fries. My husband's sneezing. All right, so here is our dinner for tonight. Homemade hamburgers, green beans from the garden, homemade French fries, so with our homemade ketchup. So we are ready to go and I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. All right, so today is Friday, the 27th. So for dinner tonight we are having, if I can get the package off of it, we are having a roasted chicken. Not doing anything fancy. I am just, seriously, come on now. I'm just going to cook it, whoa. I'm just gonna roast it in this pan. The legs are frozen up. Oh, well, that's all right. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil and salt and pepper on it, and then I'm going to stick it in the oven. Might put some poultry seasoning on it too. So I'm just going to put a little oil inside. A little bit of pepper. And I'm going to salt the outside of this, and I'm going to put some salt on the inside. I'm going to rub some on the bottom here that's in the bottom of the dish. And then I'm just going to put this in the oven and let it bake. And it's going to take about an hour to cook. So then I've got just a jar of corn, which I thought I didn't have any pints. I found some when I was downstairs. And I've got some sweet potatoes here. I'm just gonna mash these up and we'll just eat them with a little bit of butter and brown sugar. So we'll have the chicken, the sweet potatoes, the corn, And then I got a jar of peaches out that I bought from a local orchard last fall that are so good. And I'm gonna make a peach crisp with those, and that's what we're going to have for dinner tonight. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my peaches in here and get my crisp made. Actually, I probably should drain those. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make some more brown sugar because I need this for our dinner and for our dessert. And then I need to go fill my sugar here pretty soon. So I've got my molasses, just gonna dump some in here. I'm just gonna use my immersion blender to kind of blend this up. All right, this is not working, so I am going to get my mixer. I was trying to avoid getting anything like that out, so gonna have to, which that's fine. So in trying to make things easier, I actually dirtied more dishes, but that's okay. All right, so we're just gonna use our hand mixer here to mix this all up. It's working better. I'm having a heck of a time. I think I need some more molasses. All right, now that I've sprayed sugar all over my counter, I need 3/4 of a cup for our topping. And then I'm gonna put the rest in my container. And it didn't mix up the best, but that's okay because whatever I use it in, that molasses will go ahead and melt because this will either get used for cookies or some other baking product. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. A 1/2 cup of flour. Three-quarters of a cup of oats. Scant teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 of a cup of room temperature butter. Now, I did not get my butter out, so I ended up just microwaving a little bit of our chicken. It's still not done, and remind me that I don't ever want to can sweet potatoes again. I don't know if you can see, but they're like really kind of like baby food. Now, they taste good. They're just really soft, mushy, runny. I don't even know. Oh, just look. What a mess. Now, I think if I had some fresh sweet potatoes and I cooked those and kind of mashed them together, I think it would be fine. And like I said, these still taste really good. In fact, they actually are more sweet than they would normally be. But I don't really want them to be super runny like this. But we're still gonna eat them. I think I have either 4 or 5 more jars in my storage. So we'll probably eat those with some fresh ones added to them. But I put the chicken back in the oven for another 15-20 minutes. It's just taken a really long time. I should have put it in the Instant Pot. And I did go ahead and stick our peach crisp in the oven, so when we're done eating, we can have that. And we will be back tomorrow. Okay, so this will be my last recipe for this video, and we are making sort of a breakfast mix. So I've got just some potatoes here that I've got cut up in little chunks. I'm preheating my oven right now to 400. So I'm going to get those in there and get those cooking. And there it went. So I'm going to put those in. We're going to put them in about 20 or 25 minutes. And while that's cooking, I'm going to cut up some bell peppers. These need to get used. Let me think. I think I'll just use this yellow one. And then I've got onion that's already chopped up in my freezer that I forgot to bring up, so I'll go get that. So I'm just cutting these in kind of bite-sized pieces. And I'm going to go down and get my onion that I forgot to get. And I did get some pre-cooked breakfast sausage that we're going to add to this as well. Alright, so I've got my onion here. And what we're going to do is just saute this up in a skillet. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil. And then we're going to add in, I'm going to start with my onions since they are frozen. And I'll let those cook a little bit until they thaw, and then I will add my peppers to that, and we'll let those kind of saute up a little bit. One thing I forgot to do was put some oil over my potatoes, so I will go ahead and pull my pan out and add some oil over those. Alright, so those are all thawed, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my peppers and add those in. Turn this down a little bit, and we just want to let these cook until the vegetables are soft. So about 4 minutes or so. Alright, so I think these are done. So we'll go ahead and put those in a bowl over here. That smells so good. I love the smell of onion cooking. Alright, and now I've got this sausage. It is pre-cooked, but I'm going to dump out about half of it and just warm it up in the skillet. I can get it to come out. Come on. There we go. And I'll put this other half back in the freezer. turn this down and put the lid on because I really just need these to warm up. So that'll kind of help hold some steam in and help warm them up. We've got about, we've got a few more minutes on our potatoes. All right, so this is getting brown, so I'm going to go ahead, and it's warm, I'm going to go ahead and dump it in with my veggies. And I'm going to see if my potatoes are done. We want them to just be fork tender. And they are. So we'll go ahead and take those out. Turn our oven off. So now we are going to cook our potatoes. Well, we're not going to cook them. They're cooked. We're going to brown our potatoes in our skillet. Going to put them in just a single layer so that we can let them brown on one side. We'll put a little more oil in here. And then we're just going to let them sit for a minute. And we'll turn them here in just a minute so that they're brown on the bottom side. We'll let them cook on the other side, and then we'll put them in the bowl and do the next batch. So I have not mastered the art of just flipping potatoes over in a single layer, so mine just get kind of all mixed up. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Sneak in here and get some coffee. Alright, so these are pretty brown, so I'm going to go ahead and dump those in the bowl. I'm going to add some more butter. And then put another layer of potatoes in here. So it looks like it's going to be 3 layers. And one thing I did forget to do was add a little bit of salt to that last batch of potatoes. I'm going to add a little bit. Add a little bit of pepper. I about need to refill my salt container here. I've got a 10-pound bucket of Redmond's real salt in my basement storage. So we've got 3 of our grandkids coming over later today that are going to spend the night. So we're pretty excited about that. We haven't seen any of them since Christmas, and then everybody started getting sick. So this will be the first time we've seen them. All right, so I'm going to add some more butter for this last batch. And I really love this butter. I've been buying it from Azure Standard. It is Romano Family Organic Butter, European style butter. It is so good, and it's a great price. For a while I was using the Kerrygold, which is delicious, but it's kind of expensive. So I found this and I decided I would try it during the holidays, and it was well worth it. And you can buy it in bigger bundles. So that was nice. When I bought it for the holidays, I think I bought 15 pounds. And then this last time I bought either 5 or 7, I think. But it's got a fantastic flavor. It smells so amazing when it's cooking. It tastes good in your cookies. It tastes good in your other baked goods. It tastes good on something like this. It tastes good just on toast. I really, really love it. So if you have not tried it, I would recommend that. All right, we're gonna let this batch cook just another minute here. And I forgot to add salt again. And then if we need more salt and pepper, once we get it on our plates, we can do that. And it browns up much nicer with the butter than it was doing with the oil. Plus, it gives it that really great butter flavor. Okay, so these are nice and brown. I'm going to just stir all of this together. And this would have been prettier probably with a red pepper or a green pepper, but that's okay. The red and yellow taste pretty much the same. Alright, so our mix looks like this. And there's lots of different ways you can eat this. You can eat this just like it is, which is kind of what we're going to do this morning. Except I'm going to add some cheese. Babe, do you want cheese on yours?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to add some cheese to ours. You could scramble up some eggs and add it. You could add eggs and cheese, or just like this and make a burrito. That would be good. Alright, so I've got our bowls, and I've got some, while that stuff was cooking, I just shredded up some Monterey Jack because that's what I have open. I'm going to sprinkle this on the top of our bowl. And here we go. Nice, hearty breakfast. It was pretty simple. I had a lot of things already pre-cooked, so that helped. Baby, you want to come taste it? So it's got potatoes, onion, breakfast sausage, bell peppers, and cheese.
Of course I want to taste it.
Shish.
Sausage good.
Yeah, this is really good.
Okay.
All right, so, whoop. So I will link all the recipes that I've used that weren't just something I made up as I went. I'll link all those in the description box for everything that we've cooked this week. And we're gonna go eat our breakfast, but I just wanna say thanks to everybody who stuck with me this week and watched while I made all these different items. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks.